You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, fresh questions are emerging from the Electoral Act amendment following recent moves at the National Assembly to harmonize continuous provisions, including electoral transmission of results. While lawmakers insist the process is ongoing, civil society groups and legal experts are calling for clearer safeguards ahead of the 2027 elections, warning that unresolved gray areas could impact transparency and public trust. Joining us via Zoom all the way in USA is convener Social Rehabilitation, Grace and Support Initiative, Dr. Oludare Marindoti. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, Ria. How are you?
I'm perfect. We're about to start this very important conversation. I'm just going to give you, a quick rundown of what has been happening. I'm sure you've been seeing on social media. Yesterday, we saw the protest where protesters gathered at the National Assembly, calling Senate President Akpabio a whole lot of names. Now, these people are demanding that we get to see the result of elections as they hot. I mean, right on time. And now there have been conversations. Even the Senate President had said that, we have 9 states that do not have, accurate or good network or technology to support this. Well, other people will argue that if we have identified what the problem is, why don't we create a solution to it? At the end of the day, these people are just saying that they want a free and fair election. I know that the Senate is also sitting today as well to come up with an initiative to make sure that everybody is happy. But like I said earlier on, the most important thing is that this 2027 election comes out very credible. But I just want to get your take on it. What do you think about this live transmission of electoral results? Is this something you see that can happen if we put our mind on it?
Well, there are so many things to unpack, but before we even start to get into the weeds of it, I believe we will need to get to the roots of why there's this agitation about the electronic transmission of results. I will start by preaching that Isaiah 4:6 said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And even Surah Al-Nasrah says that many are led astray by their desires without knowledge. So even the Bible tells us that we need to understand what the cause of the problem is. The reason why we are talking about this is because in 2023, the people who lost the election blamed it on IREV. So now that they have falsely identified, or in their own opinion, completely identified the reason why they lost that election, because they believed President Tinubu rigged with IREV. Now that they have identified that, they are trying to correct it right now. That is why, even though our election is imperfect and there are very salient things that we need to reform and we need to think about and spend energy trying to think around and solve, we are focusing on this IREV. The reason why the country is not completely connected is because the connection is being managed by businessmen who want to make money. So if people in that place, maybe it's an IDP camp or whatever, if they are not able to be buying network, the company is not going to invest the mast and be putting diesel in the generator that will power the mast so that they can be having free access to internet. It is just business. Even in Texas, if I drive from Houston to Amarillo, an 8-hour drive, there's about 1 to 2 hours of that road whereby there's completely no network. I'm just on my own. So these things are just infrastructural, problems that we have. But technology that is supposed to be a tool in the service of democracy, we cannot make it a master to enslave democracy. Because what they are trying to do by saying nobody has a problem with electronic transmission where it can be done. I mean, if you recall the APC war room that was headed by the former minister and former governor Fashola knew the results. They were having the direct transfer. That is also electronic transmission. Transmission is just sending, just the same way you are transmitting right now from your studio. So this transmission is not in any way, shape, or form a part of the conduct of election. Election is accreditation, voting, counting, coalition, and then you declare the results. And the declaration of results is going to happen at different levels depending on the election that you are conducting. So trying to put all egg into the electronic transmission of results and making it mandatory. Well, if we do that, what will now happen? You can think about the situation whereby, like in those places where they don't have election, according to one of the civil society people that I read yesterday, he said based on INEX test, it was about 7% of the country or 70% of the population that will not be covered. So what will happen in that place? That means if they cannot electronically transmit their election, then they have been disenfranchised. And the civil society person that I saw seemed to be okay with it, even though if you had added 7% to Atiku's vote in 2023, Tinubu will not be president today. So these things, by creating a bottleneck in that place, you have created so many things. That is the first case, right? A situation of just nature whereby there is no internet coverage. So let's think about a situation where somebody is trying to be mischievous. We all know that the word of it sometimes don't vote for APC. So that means that if the APC that they are scared of, the Machiavellian APC and Tinubu that they are trying to stop, if he wants to win the election in Lagos, he can just go and put a jamming device, because there are so many jamming devices that you can use to take out the network in an area. And then you have already been given an avenue to disenfranchise people of Amuwo Odofin who are going to vote for the opposition. Because why? They are not going to be able to transmit electronically their results. And because they've not been able to transmit electronically their results by design, their vote is not going to count, even though transmission is not a part of the conduct of election. Now, let's even now go to something that is even more highfalutin. What if the BVAS is cloned, and this is me just being crafty, is cloned, and then since they are going to, you don't trust the INEC, that means the INEC will be able to take the cloned one and use that to upload the original result to a server of no return, whereas the original BVAS is being used to upload the fake results, which is what is going to be seen. So even though the INEC, the people conducting the election are honest people, they took the right results there, they will tell them, no, your result is wrong. We are going to go with IRS, because that is what they are wanting this law to say, which is, in my own opinion, really just does not make any sense. We cannot compel as a condition for the validity of an election a process whereby you cannot control. When you go to the polling units, what they tell you to do? They don't tell you to protect your coalition. They tell you to protect your ballot. So I would have been thinking that they would be thinking of ways to protect the ballot, to ensure that only the accredited ballots are counted, to ensure that the chain of custody is maintained, because so that if anybody should rig, you can go back just the same way the APC or ACN at the time went back and retrieved the mandate of Oshiomhole, Mimipo, Aregbesola and co, so that they'll be able to go back and seek that redress within 6 months by the new electoral act, and they will, so that the people who are trying to be corrupt, they will not be able to benefit from it. That is what they should be focusing on. They should be, in my own opinion, they should be focusing on internal democracy, as opposed to trying to create a bottleneck that will then create an avenue for so many mischief. And everybody seems to be ready to die on the altar of this electronic transfer, as if it is the panacea to all our electoral problems, not being able to envisage the new problems that this is going to cause, because they have identified the problems of 2023 that they are now trying to cure.
But quick one, Mr. Marindoti, I just want to highlight this, because from everything you're saying, there's a lot I would, come to you, but that'll be later on. But are you saying that technology is going to fail us? Because from the way you're sounding, it looks like, you are not with this technology at all. So I just want you to quickly touch that for me. Are you saying that technology would not do us well?
No, I'm not saying technology will not do us well. I'm saying compelling the validity of the result on technology is going to create a lot of bottlenecks that we cannot anticipate right now. Yoruba people will say, if you don't know a medicine that is toxic, you will call it a common vegetable, and that will make you eat it. There are so many problems. Technology can be easily manipulated. When the United States attacked Venezuela, Trump said it himself that they wanted even military hardware. They were able to jam it, that they wanted to shoot the guns were not going up. So you cannot tell me that people cannot jam network or use because you have already created the bottleneck whereby they can just go and attack easily. So I believe this compelling, not that they shouldn't do it, but compelling electronic transmission is going to make rigging even easier. All the media houses can band together and have a representative in all the 176,000 plus polling units and get the media result that way, but that will still not be the official one. The official one will still be the one written on the ballot box, written on those form E, whatever their names are, that is going to be transmitted up on the way to Abuja. So I'm not saying technology is not good. It is good, but you cannot compel it, because you are going to create new problems that will create a lot of destabilization. Imagine if the election in Amuwo Odofin is jammed. Now everybody will be agitating. They won't even know where the problem is. And you don't have to be outside to jam it. You can just be in your room.